Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching the show. Enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day. Take care. No, just kidding.
Good night, everybody.
We had a 60-second show just to start, but we were told by a reliable source that if we have some sort of an intro like that for all the folks who don't subscribe to YouTube and don't pay, sometimes you get like a minute or half a minute of commercials. So this way, all you're missing is 30 seconds of intro countdown. So yes, Flint.
True.
Fancy. Tim did that in his bag of tricks.
I did.
Yep.
Yeah.
I could barely draw a stick figure. Tim was pulling that shit out of his ass, So it's nice. Very nice. Yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. Another Monday night. And we have a good show, I think, tonight. We're talking about NPCs and various tools to get NPCs, various things that have been published through the years, and what makes a good NPC, how to develop them, how to create them. All right, so thanks for joining, and we're going to start, as always, with what in the hell cool things did we have this week, Tim?
Let's see. I actually have an unboxing this week.
Whoa, live?
I just got it today. Yeah.
Nice, man. Nice.
So I think this is another, it's bad when you don't know what's in the box, but I think I do know what's in the box. I think it's another Phil Reed of the Everlasting Kickstarters.
I just hope it's not a fancy toy of some illicit sort, if you know what I mean there, Tim.
So well, you don't want more subscribers.
That's true. That's true.
Look at the bright side, then.
Mm-hmm. Tim and Joe's butt plug show. Yep, there we
go.
Mm-hmm.
You get a sponsor then.
We got a better shot at getting Will's kind of sponsors than anything else.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Oh, wow,
we could have a crossover if it was like a butt plug with like a dragon at the end, or you know what I mean, or a beholder. Boom, the butt plug beholder crossover.
There you know. You can pitch it there. So all right. So this was Phil Reed. I don't remember ordering 4 decks, but maybe I did.
All
so I got 4 decks. So let me get the garbage out of the way. Oh, quick weird side point. I mean, keeping these scrunchy little pieces of paper because you get the nice little creases in there and everything.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna draw like a city map on these one of these days. I think it'll look cool.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, look how big this stuff is. You can draw a good size.
That's funny, man, because we're not broke anymore like we were when we were kids. We were scrounging that one piece of cardboard that we got from somewhere to hold on to make the perfect map someday that we never made because we don't want to waste a good piece of cardboard.
Right. Exactly. So
Blue Dragon butt plugs. I like it. Started a trend, Tim.
There we go.
Be trending on Twitter.
Oh God. I don't even want to see what kind of stuff we get from that. So I don't know whether these are different. I don't know if there's 2. All right. Well, apparently I have 2 Shadow Spark treasure cards.
All right.
And I don't see any difference between the 2. So I don't. Sometimes he does 2 different packs, but I don't know. I guess the only way to do it is open it up. I don't know. I don't know if I got 2 packs or.
Show it live so we can see if there's dents or something, man. Come on.
No, there's actually they look pretty clean.
Okay.
I got this reversed. Because YouTube's got a delay and it jacks me up if I'm looking directly at that one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right.
I never look at
that. That's what they look on the nice. I like the.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Other side.
Here, let me just highlight you. I think there's a button to highlight you. Solo layout.
Make it focus.
There you go. Solo.
I'm not covering my face. What do I got on my hand? I got something gross on my hand. Anyways, I'll open this up. See if it's. It's the thing about these tuck boxes. You almost have to tear them up to get them open sometimes. All right. So this is for Shadow Dark. That's why it's called. Well, it's called Shadow Dark, designed for the use with Shadow Dark RPG. Okay. Shadow Spark treasure cards.
All right.
And let me see. So this is what all the backs look like, little treasure chest and everything.
Okay.
And then your favorite part, Joe. This font's not too bad. You might bitch about it still, but
yeah, I can't read it even though I'm looking like my eye at the screen. It might be the blurry. But so let's see a card with a thing on it. So that's how to use it. Let's see a card with a bit of.
Oh, okay. Here's a card with a picture.
All right. So we got a weapon. Okay.
So you can weapon. So it gives you a D6 roll. And then the description below it is Sylvan runes on the blade identify the weapon as Goblin Scar. It possesses no special power, but it is worth double the normal value of a long sword.
Okay.
Okay. So it's got. So it's just a thing, a Wrath's spellbook. Now the way they do it with Shadow Dark is they'll do like a benefit, and then sometimes they'll do a. I don't know if they call it a curse, or I want to find a cursed one here. Random magic items. So I guess you pick these out when people find treasure, I guess.
Okay. So it's just instead of rolling on a table.
Let me see what it says on how to use. All right. The 52 card deck is designed to use with Shadow Dark role-playing game. Instead of rolling a random generated treasures as outlined in the game's core rules, you may choose to shuffle the deck and draw a card when you select loot. So there you go.
All right, very cool.
Let me see here. It's got a couple random tables. Shield of the Ram, bonus +1 shield. Can only be wielded by a lawful being. Benefit. May be used as a one-handed melee weapon with a range of close. On a successful attack, it inflicts 3d4 damage. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Shield has no special properties. Well, that sounds like a pretty special property to me.
Yeah. But you are a minimalist in terms of treasure, right? She came from 5e, so she's still got to appease the 5e crowd that thinks such a thing as a piece of crap. You know?
Yeah.
Well, she came from 5e, but she has.
No, it looks pretty cool. No, I mean, this is what I was kind of hoping it was, because sometimes I get stuff and they kind of play it up as one thing, and it's sort of like, it's not exactly what it's supposed to be, and then it goes up on my shelf, and then I forget about it, and then I go, oh, cool, look at, I forgot about this, and then I look at it, and I'm like, oh, that's why it's on the shelf and dusty.
That's pretty cool, man.
But let me see this. I thought there was two different decks, but this looks like the same damn thing.
It's a duplicate, so you paid twice, or you just get a.
I guess so. I must have paid twice for it. I don't know. Let me see if it's the same thing, which is not uncommon for me. It's the same. It's the same deck. So I probably get the same. Well, these are probably the same too. What the hell?
Great. That's great. That's just right up there with finding dented books. That's really good.
I know.
I want the same thing twice, motherfucker.
No, not only did I buy the same thing twice, I bought two things twice.
Yeah.
It wasn't just one. It was two things.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That
is fantastic.
Then we got these.
Hey Terry, how you doing, man? Hey, we got 7
Terry.
people.
Terry,
Tim, you should raffle that off today. You got a bonus one.
I know. Well, I got 2 bonus ones here.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think this one's a 48 card deck. And what is this called? Ensorcelled. Yeah, Ensorcelled. So, collection of 48 cards, treasure cards. Each introducing a new magic item, or maybe cursed, for your campaign. I'll just have to find all the cursed ones and pull those out.
Yeah, give them to me. I know. Put them on top when I'm drawing. I know.
I know. No doubt about it. These treasures may be found on a body of defeated foe or a large hoard of riches. So the first one's poison, ensorcelled poison. Let me see. The black elixir that somehow tastes like licorice, but even more bitter. Benefit. DC.
Oh, that would be called an elixirish, wouldn't it?
Oh.
Right.
Ken would be proud of you tonight. Boom! Boy, you double. You got it stuck. You got it on loop again, don't you?
Damn it! It defaults to loop. What kind of retard setting is that when it defaults?
You always mess it up. You know, it's like you hit once and then you just overdo it.
Damn it.
I don't know why they have a loop for sound effects anyway.
I'm just, I at least I did it at the right time. So here's to me.
Very nice.
That was actually a test to see if I turned off the loop function. Yeah, that's all that really was. And I did. There is a button for loop all tracks, and I just turned it off. So yeah.
So this is the artwork. The artwork's a little plain. It looks like the font and maybe a little bit bigger, and just real simple artwork for all these. So DC 15 con or suffer 1d4 damage. On a successful check, you gain a +2 bonus on all rolls to resist poison for the next 1d4. So you got to drink this poison to resist poison, and if you fail, then
you get poisoned.
Yeah, that's my kind of benefit. They labeled that as benefit. That's my kind of benefit. I like that. It's like, it's a benefit. If you drink it and you die, you resist all poison checks for the rest of your life.
And bites and slashes and burns.
Yeah, so look, for whatever stupid ass reason, I don't know why I would have ordered 2 of each. I don't know. Let me see.
Everyone in the audience knows exactly why, because I'm assuming we're all around the same age. Brain. Elder brain it is. When in doubt.
I cannot deny that one. Yeah, it says I ordered all of them. Okay.
Yeah, take it.
All right, but it's so I just got the double coolness.
Double coolness. As Flint says, sounds like a giveaway to me. Yeah, I actually listened to one of your videos today.
I'll do some giveaway. And then I got this deck. Mm-hmm. This one, so I got this at Barnes this weekend. So it's the Ultimate RPG Fire Camp card deck.
Campfire card deck.
Okay. Now this guy, James D'Amato, he writes these books you've probably seen in the store and on Amazon a lot. These RPG Ultimate Game Master world building. And he's got like character building and other things. Okay. I cannot say I'm a fan of these. These are just, if you want to ask yourself 264 pages of questions and different things, then this is the book for you for doing stuff.
Is that for NPCs, Tim? Was that one?
No, this one's world building. I actually gave the NPC one to Matt just as a joke.
Because 269 steps to make an NPC.
Right. Yeah,
love it. Yeah. No, that's perfect.
So I did, because when I got it, I'm like, I'm never going to use this. So I did. Yeah. But this one, okay, first of all, all right. I mean, I shouldn't be, you know how they talk about triggers?
There we go with this.
There we go. Here's the
Matt, as Tim pulls this out, I should let all you guys know that there is a GoFundMe currently for Matt Jackson to help him buy some more adult diapers. So please contribute to the GoFundMe link. I'll put the link up later.
So when I open this up, I don't know why, but it does. This is what triggered me.
Nice.
First thing on the top. Why?
I love it.
It's like, are you kidding me? All right.
I love it.
Okay, and here's
not an X card fan, Tim? Not an X card fan, I take it.
I get it, but just say that you don't like it. I just hate the stuff when they like pussyfoot around the topic. I need direct.
Well, the whole X card
conversation. I've never been an X card fan, but I believe there's times when you just need to say, can we not?
Yeah, exactly.
Like my one friend one time we were kind of playing not an evil campaign, but not a good campaign either. And my guy was like I don't know, kind of like an underworld boss kind of thing at the time. Really. And I had taken over this one place and this guy turned it into a brothel. Well, then he was talking about how he was like capturing kids and all this stuff.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was just like, can we not go there? I don't want to hear that. I said, does he, I mean, I told him, I said, my friend is like, if he's really talking about that stuff, I'm just going to like kill the NPC. But I mean, it's just, and so, he let it go. So, that was fine, but it's just like, no, don't go there. I don't want to deal with that. I deal with that in everyday life all the time. So I don't want to talk, deal with that. But all right. So what you're supposed to do with these is apparently gather around the fire. And when you have some downtime, you ask these questions of each other. And
so this are your PCs are at the campfire at night after adventuring for the day.
I guess so. And then this is, so they've got 6 different discs. They got hypotheticals.
Yeah.
They've got your past. They got your present. They have the Stupid X card. They have your companions, your dreams, and your world. Okay. So pick a stack. Pick 1 through 6, Joe.
5.
5. That's with hypothetical. So I would ask your character, if you died tomorrow and became a ghost, who would you haunt? And how would you go about hunting them?
And you'd have to answer these in character.
Right.
I kind of like that, dude. It's like conversation starters for PCs sitting around the fire at night.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't mind that part, because I think there's definitely some merit to this.
Yeah.
Especially for developing NPCs, which is our show tonight.
That is our show tonight. It's a perfect segue.
So I thought it was, definitely wouldn't need a lot of them. Maybe pick out like a couple and run with it. So so those are. I'm sorry, I took a long time with my cool things tonight.
Oh, that's cool, man. Cool thing. That means you had a lot of cool things. That's a cool
lots
thing.
of cards. Well, I had a lot of double.
Yeah, you did.
Repeat cool things.
Uh-huh.
I didn't buy 2 of these. I only bought 1 of these. So I didn't just
slacker.
No issue with that. I can't believe I bought 2 of both of those.
Jesus Christ. Hey, Mike.
Ivy's in the background going, I can.
Yeah.
Not helpful.
Hey. If she ever says that to me, ask her how many cast iron pants she has. Case closed.
That's right. But I mean, if you do, he's got a lot of these books on Amazon, and I think they're actually in Barnes and Nobles too. So if you like, I mean, there's extensive amount of if you really, really want to get in depth with stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much more you could get in depth than a 265-page book developing an NPC or that kind of thing. So, I mean, and they're not too expensive. They're affordable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good idea, Flint. Pass out 3 to a person, let the person pick, but somebody start the conversation. That's kind of cool. I like that. It's random encounters around the campfire, basically.
Oh, we got Jim White in. I haven't seen Jim in forever.
I know. Yeah. Good to see you, Tim. Jim. Yeah, that's cool, man.
Jim. Now I see Terry. Terry was the winner last.
Yes, he was. That's why he came back. He's like, fuck, this is a good place. Yeah, what do we got? We got 12 watching.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad so far.
Yeah, he said it's been a while. Yeah, good to have you back, Jim. Yeah, it's been a long time. And we got Mike there. I'm catching up with what's it called? Chat.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good deal.
And my cool thing for the week was I saw Dune yesterday, or 2 days ago. I saw Dune Saturday night.
A whole bunch of awesome.
Oh my god! And I'm a Dune nut. Like I think before, but in college, I had read Dune before college, just the first book. And during college, and I read all the others, but during college, I also every semester had this used bookstore near off campus,
Right.
It was called the Other Bookstore, so
that's what it was called, huh?
The Other Bookstore, I think, because you want to go buy here, I want to go to the other store. Yeah. So they called this the Other Bookstore, and you had used books as well as textbooks, but they kept themselves going between like summer on breaks with a lot of used books. And so I would pick up a new copy, new to me, for like $1 of Dune. And so when I graduated college, I had my diploma and 9 copies of Dune, so I kept the best of 9 and I donated the rest to wherever, book sale, the library thing. And I must have read the original Dune 15 times and the series through 6 or 8, 9 times. And God Emperor to me is my favorite of all the 6. That really, really set my brain on fire. It made me think along certain lines. It just the right time, the right book, just to sort of sculpt the way I view things.
I get that.
The world, the politics, sociology, everything, religion, you name it. It really hit me hard. And so I've been a Dune nut forever. I actually did like the 84 movie. I'd like the David Lynch movie. I know you hated it. I know you hated it, but
how could you love?
No, here we go.
And even consider that piece of trash, even in the same world. The only thing it has is worms and names and just the title Dune that has anything to do with the book.
I didn't like the Weirding Way. I didn't like the Weirding Way modules. That was stupid. They screwed that up. But I thought they did a decent job, especially for 1984. I thought they did a decent job.
Okay, we won't get because it's offensive to me. I would use my X card. David Lynch fucking up June.
That's great. Yeah, so I did enjoy. I didn't like the other. I saw the other miniseries they had for a couple of them, over the years.
I liked that one, the one from Sci-Fi.
Yeah, I saw there was two, I think, at different places.
Well, they did the one back in the early 2000s or late 90s, and I didn't mind that one. And then they had the Children of Dune series, and I never read past the first book back in the day because when I didn't talk to Frank Herbert. When I read about Frank Herbert, that's all he was going to write was one novel. He never intended to make it a series, but it became so popular that they're like, hey Frank,
I want to make some money.
Let's make a little bit more dough. Don't these fuckers have kids? Let's run with that.
I agree that he should have ended it after the fourth book. The fifth, and the sixth. Wasn't a fan. Chapter House and Heretics. I did not like that. I thought it was a different tone. I thought it was a cash grab. And certainly what his son, I guess, did once he died. Hey, I found some random notes in a safe deposit box my father had. Now, if he had anything, he had like a few pages. This mofo, he ends up publishing like 5,000 books, like from some random notes his father left behind, right? I read the first few. They're like, but it wasn't Frank Herbert. So I look at it as maybe expanded universe nonsense, like the Star Wars stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I'm viewing it. But I saw it Saturday night. I wanted to see it in IMAX. I had to go at 10:45 to get it to see this in IMAX. Now I did some prep. I did some prep for this, dude. I wasn't fucking around.
You were prepping.
I was prepping. I was like, I had a chill day. I slept like 12 hours the night before. I got up like at 11:30 in the morning, just long.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You said you
slept real late. I had a nice, chill, relaxing day. I just ate good food. I meditated for a half an hour beforehand. I smoked some good weed. I on the way there, I listened to classical music for a while, like all day long, like a good. I'll show you guys a link my classical music list if you want. Good shit, And then on the way there, I had a little edible going. Hit the place. I had a little bit of a wait, so I stopped at a Mexican restaurant. It was great because there was like one Mexican dude, a few people waiting for Dune, the bartender, and me. And the TVs had soccer in Spanish. So I'm like, oh, this is great. No distractions. I could just stay in the mindset. And I got a margarita. They had the special margarita there to help me get in the mindset. And then the folks next to me talking about Long Island iced teas. I'm like, oh, I got to do that now. Did that, a couple shots. I hit Dune.
Man, you're lucky you were still,
Dude, I got capacity. That made the tiniest of dents. That's the.
I would have been sleeping in that chair and missed everything.
Oh no, IMAX, dude. Sat in his IMAX chair, dead center, right in the middle, perfect view. Oh, it was excellent. It was fantastic. I got home like 2:30 that morning. Sat in my deck at night looking at the stars.
I know. I saw you posting like, what was it, 3 a.m. or something?
Yeah, 3 a.m. post to the sky.
Man, you didn't watch a movie, man. You had an experience.
I had an experience. That's what I wanted. I wanted to do this thing. I was so pissed off I didn't get to see the first one in IMAX, So I had an experience. I wanted to see.
They had it, didn't they? Because that was during.
It was real short. It was really a short run in IMAX.
Directly to Max, didn't they?
I think it was one of those dual release things.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And the director says he pointed to the IMAX screen. This is what he designed this movie for. And people have said that if you didn't see an IMAX, if you saw it on a small screen or whatever, you just missed out half the movie. You didn't even see the same movie, they said. And I can understand that, man. It felt like my chair was vibrating. I mean, it was just an experience. Really? This is nice. I had to drive about 40 minutes, but it was well worth the drive,
There's probably one within 40 minutes of us.
Yeah.
One here, yeah.
It was such a good movie, though. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the next one. I'm sure there's going to be a next one. I think they're talking about it, But
I don't know where they left off on it. Did they leave off?
Finish Dune. They finished Dune 1.
They did finish Dune.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
and
what I wasn't sure.
The only bad thing about it, I'm not getting into spoilers, but I'll put it in the general sense.
Well, if it's Dune, most of the people are going to know.
I would assume so. It's just a matter of how the movie played it, right?
Right.
And they took some liberties. I mean, they did. I got to say, David Lynch's Dune stuck closer to the book, other than the weirding way and some gross examples, than this movie did in terms of a textual, line for line, paragraph for paragraph thing, right? They took some liberties in this, but it didn't really hurt it. All the major points were there, except they gave Chani. I don't know how you say it. I think it's Chani. I heard people
Chani
say
is that was played by what,
girlfriend. No, Chani was the girlfriend who became his wife later. The Fremen wife.
Yeah. Okay.
Chani. I don't know how you say it.
Yeah, I can't remember how you say it.
Yeah, but it was Fremen wife, and they gave her a much more expanded role in this that she didn't have. And of course, there's tension and there's bullshit. In the book, there was none. There wasn't anything there. She was just, but you can't have like the dutiful wife thing these days. So she had to have, you're meant for me. There was, there's none of that these days. Right?
I don't remember that being in Dune though. She was pretty badass by herself.
She was. Yeah. They didn't, and she isn't badass in this too. She was pretty cool.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's what's her face. She's like,
Zendaya. I mean, they really got Zendaya. Let's make her an expanded.
Yeah, you're not going to make her. She's not going to have a background role.
No. Yeah. So they say, let's get all the women to come down, the girls to come down because Zendaya's here, and in order to justify that, so that they don't bitch about Zendaya having a traditional role, let's change the script a bit. So I just didn't like that. There's a few guys leaving who didn't. I mean,
think of it like this: if there was a fight between Zendaya and that Timothy, whatever his last
Chalamet, yeah.
I mean, my money's on Zendaya all day long.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
He weighs like a buck nothing.
He pulled it off, dude. I was shocked.
No, but you don't have to be big tough guy to play that part. I mean, he was kind of he kind of fits. I thought he fit the role. At first, I was like, wasn't sure. But, when I saw him in the first one, I was like, no, I like it. And then the supporting cast is just phenomenal.
Yeah. They were fantastic. You're the guy who played Gurney Halleck in real life, wrote Timothy Chalamet like a love poem, a homosexual love poem or some shit. It's fucking weird, dude. It was strange. I don't fucking understand.
Okay.
Josh Brolin was like, okay, dude, never float your boat, man. But now that's out there. Just saying,
Don't snap. Got to take part of his reins.
Yeah. So that was that. I don't know. That was just. It was a good movie. Other than all of that, I thought it was a damn good movie. I will look forward to the next one. Most definitely. Shots fired. Saw 84 Dune in theater last week. Where did you see that? Damn, man.
Probably were just for like a primer for the release or something.
Yeah,
like that.
But the 84 one,
Well, that's the one you're talking about.
Yeah. No,
they're probably like, watch this piece of shit. So the real
the other two look good.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Paul was a little dude in the book.
Yeah.
The thing I liked about David Lynch, I don't know if you know this, but Kyle MacLachlan, whatever his name is, who played him in the original movie, he was a Dune maniac. Like, he loved Dune. He read as much as I did. And so he wanted Paul to be really accurate as to the book. So he tried to keep Paul like the way the book envisioned him. So I kind of like that about him, It was nice.
He failed. Nice. I mean, the one thing about that movie, though, the only thing I will give that movie is it also had a stellar cast. I mean, from top to bottom, they just had.
I mean, you had Captain Picard in there, for God's sakes.
You did before he was Captain
Picard. I know.
I think it was around the same time he was. What was he in Excalibur? I forgot what knight he played in Excalibur.
Ah, God, yeah, he did play a knight. I forgot about that.
Yeah, him and Liam Neeson were playing like secondary characters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, that's right. I forgot about it. Liam Neeson. No, Liam Neeson was in there too.
Yeah. He was the one who got his ass kicked by Sir Lancelot what's his Morgan Le Fay whispered in his ear about that. I guess promised him her goodies if he said something, and he did, and then Lancelot kicked the shit up. That's when Lancelot was fighting when he was wounded to defend the Queen's honor. That's who he beat the shit out of.
No shit.
I can't remember who it was, though. For some reason, I have like Sir Boris or something in my head. I don't think that was it.
Damn, who knew?
Not me.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my cool thing for the week, y'all. Lynch, in fairness, to put in an impossible position with his time constraints. Yeah, it's studio shit all over that too. It's true. It's true, Doc. Yeah.
Sir Gawain. Yes,
Sir
that's
Gawain.
right. Yep.
There you go, Doc.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doc's got it. He's on it.
He is. He's on fire. He came in hot today, Doc.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. You hot for the topic tonight?
Hot
NPCs.
Topic.
How to make
NPCs. Weird stuff.
Yeah. So let me throw back on the screen here, because I'm
going to show you what he looks like.
What's that?
You're going to show us what you look like today, Joe?
Who? No, God no.
No. Oh, okay.
No. I don't want to. I don't want the girls to come chase me down and shit, dude. I like my peace and quiet in life.
Yeah, those edibles are still kicking in. Huh?
Yeah. Well, I just puffed a little before the show.
84 sets and visuals are wild, and the practical effects were state of the art for the time.
True. As we used to say.
State of the art to show a really crappy movie. Okay.
Remember Hoo-Ah? Where was that from?
Hoo-Ah.
Al Pacino. Oh yeah. That's a great one. I made me want to learn the tango, man. I'll tell you. It really did.
You wanted to dance with Al Pacino?
Oh yeah, the hot chick with him. I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, but NPCs are the topic du jour.
They are.
Or what's du jour means of the day, right? What is of the night? The what? The what? The night. This topic, the night.
You're the one who started with the French.
Yeah. It's French. Oh, who knew? All right.
That's great. We would know.
Yeah, right. Talk about NPCs. How to make them, what makes them memorable. It's an interesting topic, because I had like no brain cells left yesterday, and Tim's like, "What are we gonna talk about?" I'm like, "Oh fuck, bad timing, man." But he came up with NPCs. I'm like, "That's perfect. That's perfect," because I think it really helps to have interesting NPCs, and Tim does a lot of good ones. That I've seen in his games. And I've stolen some from his game, one in particular, and brought him into my game. The most famous NPC Tim has ever had, in terms of everybody hates his guts, nobody's ever met him, right?
Hugo. No, I don't think anybody's. Well, early on, I think people met him.
He was a peddler back then. He didn't make it big back in the old days.
I don't think they knew his reputation quite yet. Like you did at first.
No, I didn't. No. Hugo's healing potions made his first appearance in one of Tim's early zines, and from a million years ago, I guess. Right, that was his first print appearance. I don't know if it was in a game or not, but
he was definitely a game worn NPC.
Okay.
He was definitely.
We'd had him for a while.
Well, he actually came from a friend's PC. It actually came from him. He's sort of created the concept, but I kind of expanded on it and ran with it. But I have to. My friend Jesse, he's the one who basically did all the heavy lifting with it. He based all of his quirks, because Jesse was a weird little dude himself.
Right.
So it made it really easy to make Hugo kind of quirky and odd. So basically I just kind of stole from Jesse and then integrated that into his character.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
That's why
it worked.
And I think that's what makes him probably memorable. And hated. Yes.
Hated. Because he sells potions that sometimes don't work. So
but they work 1 or 5 out of 6 times. If you're rolling,
and then the 6th time is when you need it the most, though, and it doesn't work, and you're dead.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah, well,
Are they not cheap?
They are not. Well, they're cheap. 25 gold.
But he spells cheap CHEAP. So right there, so you've already got someone who's not, can't write. He's a little bit illiterate, and you're expecting him to make a healing potion. So come on. Take responsibility for yourself. I'm gonna see if I can find this really cool picture that
somebody drew of him.
Yeah. Did you ever see it? Somebody sent it to mine. Let me see if I can find it here.
You mean somebody drew Hugo? The original guy drew Hugo?
No. This girl I worked with, I asked her to draw a picture of him and just kind of gave her a broad outline, and she nailed it. She fucking nailed it. I mean, I can't think of Hugo any other way. I don't know what I thought of before. Yeah. But now the way she drew it, just you'll see the picture, Joe, and I don't think I would have to tell you who it is, and you'll go,
that good, huh?
That's fucking Hugo. Now I gotta find my.
All right.
Go ahead and talk.
Yeah, so Hugo basically sells shitty healing potions, and because when you need him the most, it fails. Everybody's so many people's last words in all of Tim's games is "fucking Hugo," and then you die.
That is true. That is very true. Yeah,
that's it. And then you croak.
Curse Hugo's name. That is fun for me.
Yeah. So with Hugo, this is a guy. What's the most interesting thing I realized that tonight about him is that I've never met him and I hate him. That's how memorable he is. And if you could have an NPC, right, that people hate without even fucking meeting, you achieve something. You know,
I'm going to share my screen here, Joe.
Okay, go for it.
So let's see if I can find the window. That's Hugo.
Oh God, yeah! What a weasel. Weaselly looking
such
bastard.
A good job with him. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a totally weaselly looking bastard. You're right.
Yep. So yeah, Emily, this girl named Emily, I worked with like, oh gosh, I don't know when this came out. I don't even remember, but let's see if I've got when did it?
You pulling up more Hugo?
No, I'm just looking to see if what the date was when I started.
Oh.
Hugo's healing potions even outdates the OSR stuff that I did. I mean, we're talking years before that too. So
what do you mean, Tim?
Like it was in my GURPS days. It was probably
really
early 2000s, maybe in the 90s and stuff.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah. So
so the question comes down to how do you make such a being so memorable? How do you have an NPC that's so interesting that the characters remember them for years and years and still hate them? You know, how do you create NPCs that are good, memorable, who add something substantial to the campaign? You know, that actually you look back and say, God damn, that was interesting. That was a great encounter. That interaction really helped develop the game. It's not all about killing the monsters and taking their shit, going to the inn and banging the bar wench, right? How do you make the world a living, breathing place? That's the answer, NPCs. But how do you make them memorable? How do you develop them? I think the first step is you got to make them real in some way. Okay. You have to make them, you have to make them have emotion, have feelings, have motivations, have goals. They're not just there for the PC's, love. They're not there to help them along the way. They don't exist as a placeholder for the PC to get a quest from, to get the information from. They're not interchangeable beings. You don't go to Waterdeep or Greyhawk and say, well, I'm just going to go talk to a sage, or you find a sage. Okay, I'll give him 100 gold. Does he tell me the answer? That's lame and boring shit, right? You got to go to Greyhawk, find a sage, interact with that sage. He might be a weirdo as compared to the other sage you're going to talk to. You got 5 completely different sages that should not be interchangeable. One could be brusque, one could be a weirdo, one could be a doddering old fool who remembers bits of wisdom and insight once in a while. One could be a brilliant young scholar looking to make his mark on the world, and therefore he's going to really, really, really try to help you. And one could be a complete fraud, criminal crook. Every one of these sages is a different being, though. And what is their motivation? What makes them who they are? Where do they come from? What are they all about? That's the key to doing it.
Well, how do you make one like that, Joe?
I think you start with, okay, this person exists in this town outside of the PC's interaction with it. How and why? Okay. So you got Phil the Sage. Let's start with Phil the Sage, right?
Okay, Phil.
All right, Phil. Phil the Sage lives in a town of about 800 to 1,000 people. Okay. So how does the sage make a living there? Okay. I'm making this up as I go, but I'm trying to figure it out as I go based on reality and what makes sense. Okay. So Phil the Sage, 800 to 1,200 people, something like that. He's not making most of his money by being a sage. All right. he makes money by people passing through who may need his services. So what does he do during his downtime? He'll read, he'll write, he'll maybe do some scribing services. He's probably an educated person. He might be able to write some legal contracts because there wasn't such a thing as a lawyer class, maybe, right? So he could write some legal contracts, be a witness. He might be a member of the town council because he's educated. He's seen the world. He has books. He has knowledge. He has lore. He has history in his head. He might be a person they could consult to get some of that information, right? But Phil the Sage, he probably doesn't do it full time. All right. So he has to what? Maybe farm. Maybe he runs a farm. Maybe he's like a poor Thomas Jefferson, right? A brilliant man, but poor and has to get out there and till his own fields. Well, he's not going to do that alone. You got to have kids, right? You need some bunch of boys, teenage boys on that big farm. Bring it all in, right? And he's got his wife. He's got his kids. But in the meantime, he has one room in his little house devoted to all his books. Okay. And once in a while, adventurers come through town and they want to get some information about the lay of the land. Now, Phil can't travel that much. He's got a fucking farm. So what does he specialize in? Maybe stories of adventurers that come through the bar. He'll write them down and he'll get lore. He'll get information. He'll buy maps from them. Maybe that he could sell to adventurers coming through town. That helps supplement the farming income. All right. But what does Phil want? So there's Phil's life. That is a slice of Phil's life. Okay. So now you get a sense of who Phil is and what he wants. He's a 35-year-old, 40-year-old guy. He's got a couple of older teenage boys, helping out on a farm, maybe a couple of kids. He wants to not have to do this anymore. He wants to make a full-time living as a sage. He wants to get a reputation and knowledge out there. Maybe he wants to associate himself with a group of PCs. Maybe that's his motivation. Maybe he wants to go out on an adventure. Maybe he was a former mage, trained up in first level, but never really got out there to adventure. He might be able to accompany them. That and cast his sleep spell at a time that is crucial or something like that. But he's a scared adventurer. He doesn't want to do it too often, right? Because he's got a family. He really can't, So once you look at Phil the Sage, you realize that he has an entire backstory. Funny, I don't allow PC backstories, but for NPCs to make them interesting, you need a fucking backstory. You need to have. I think so. For me, I don't know how you do it. That's why we're going to talk about this because this is what I do.
Well,
right?
I hear what you said, but how do you get there, Joe? Like, how do you make your NPCs?
I just
think about it and just riffed.
I riffed. Yeah, that's what I had no idea that I was going to say what I just said for the last 5 minutes, Tim.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. I didn't know how you created them. So you just think about them for a little bit and just kind of get in their shoes a little bit, and then you run for a while.
I did, and I could keep going and going and going. I mean, but I've bored the shit out of these people. You know what I mean? But this is so I made a whole background for Phil the Sage. He's a farmer, wants to be a full-time sage, wants to get a reputation, get some money, not have to farm anymore. Maybe move back to the big city and really, earn his keep out there as a true sage. But in the meantime, he needs the cash, he needs the money. So Phil can get anything that gives him money, that gets him off the farm. He's a happy mofo. All right. So that's how I do it. I just think about what makes sense and I start riffing off of it from common principles.
What do you do though if say I come into your what was that one place the halfling town?
Yeah. All right.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yep. In my place.
I'm in the halfling town and I want to go see the blacksmith.
Okay.
If you don't have one ready, do you just do that on the spot or how do you do something like on the spot?
On the spot. Well, all right. I don't have anything ready for the blacksmith in a halfling town, Tim. All right. So your guy is walking into my halfling town.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, Shane, what's up, buddy? Holy shit. I've seen you forever, man.
Talked to Shane forever.
Yeah. All right. So Tim, your halfling has walked, your character, your wood elf has walked into my halfling town.
Yep.
All right.
And Joe, I need a blacksmith. So I go so it's like, so where's the blacksmith located?
Mm-hmm.
And I had go over there
and his name is Ward Stonehill. All right. Ward Stonehill, the halfling blacksmith. All right. You're directed to him, and I have nothing made up for this guy. All right. And this is a small little hill outside of town, and next to that hill is a small hut. It's halfling made, but it's sort of covered in earth, right? To make it look like it's part of a halfling, hill, but nobody lives in that thing. So it's sort of just fake earth covering it, covering this hut. So yeah, you see him out there. He's a small little halfling and he's smaller than most, but he's hammering away with his tongs. And he's got his hammer on the anvil, holding what looks like a spoon. He's trying to repair a spoon. So yeah, you see him working away there. No apprentices though.
Okay. And so I was like, what's his name? Ward?
Ward, as in
Ward.
Mr. Shane Ward. Ward,
right.
Ward Stonehill.
Ward Stonehill.
Ward Stonehill.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to ask, I'll just go to, so Ward, I heard you're a good smith, or heard you're a smith. And,
what? Oh, yes. Sorry. I couldn't hear you over the hammering. My left ear, I had an accident when I was a kid. What? Okay. He's turning his right ear towards you as he said, "What can I do for you?" He looks up at you. Wood elf.
Yeah. So I was wondering, I'm looking around. What do I see in the store?
There he has nothing in a store.
Or
he
not
has this
store, looking around his smithing.
It looks like he has a pile of implements that he's fixing for townsfolk. There's like buckets, there's some more silverware, right? You see a shovel being fixed and even a pickaxe.
Okay. It's like, do you repair weapons? I had my sword had an accident when orc tried to make me a head shorter.
Well, it looks like you survived the orc attack. I do repair weapons. It doesn't have much need for them lately around here, but it's been relatively peaceful. But with the all the goblin activity and the orcs, definitely. I've been getting some practice lately. Not that I need the practice after all. I'm fully proficient in repairing weapons. I guarantee you.
Good.
As he touches his nose ever so slightly. Guarantee you.
All right. So you just kind of go right off the Good. No, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So now we know
Ward. I didn't know what because you're very methodical with your campaign and your adventure. So I didn't know how you were with your NPCs. I didn't know if that was a methodical. If you have time, how do you do it? Do you write up a 2-page background, or do you just?
I'll think about it. And a lot of the background with an NPCs, you'll give the skeletal structure, right, of who he is. And then a lot of his background comes from his interaction with the rest of the town's NPCs. Like Ward might know this guy who's cousin to that guy, but their fathers may have adventured, 30 years ago together. And you know what I mean?
Yeah. Tim said, write that down. Tim's going to go back.
Yeah.
I know that so much now. Yeah.
But what came out of Ward just now was on a whim. I'm like, well, he didn't hear Tim the first time. Why? Because he's deaf in one ear. That characteristic came out just from me busting your balls. What'd you say? Right. So now we know Ward is deaf in one ear. And Ward, he, you could tell by when he touched his nose. That's always the common tell of somebody's lying. He knows it's stereotypical, right? Mm-hmm. He says, I do it all the time. I'm good at it, right? And he touches his nose. Ever so slightly, no intuition check needed. That this guy is going to fuck your weapon up. Maybe, maybe it might work. Maybe it won't. But he did say he doesn't do a lot of weapons, right? You see just spoons and forks.
He's already kind of given him an out.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, he's like, wow, you told you to do too much. I haven't worked with that kind of steel before.
Yeah. When do we decide the NPC plays a larger role in the adventure? I mean, that's up to the PCs.
I was going to say, I don't think we decide that. I think more the players decide that. Because how many times have you been running a campaign and you have somebody walk across the street and all of a sudden becomes the entire focus of the freaking party that second?
Yeah.
Some Knuckle Nuts walks across.
yeah.
And now Knuckle Nuts is like the star of the show.
Uh-huh.
That happens very frequently when that happens. I mean, okay, all right, so you got that, Joe, but when you're prepping for a game and we're going to encounter, you said you kind of where do you find the personality of an NPC?
Sometimes it's a stereotypical thing with quirks and tweaks. Sometimes it's based on a person that I know. Right. I mean, a lot of innkeepers, a lot of bars in feature in RPGs, and I've been to a lot of bars. So there's a lot of random strange characters in my mind. Right. So, and I don't go to normal bars. My bars, I like the 5 Ds: danger, debauchery, deviance, decadence, and D-cups. That's what I shoot for in a bar, so the 5 Ds. And so I go to the bars that have interesting people there. Right. So I'll use some of those people, just people, and sometimes it's a mosh up, but it's a lot of times what comes to me is something funny or a little inspiration. But I'll write down the basic skeletal outline, and then a lot of stuff you don't have until the people start talking to them, and then you write shit down as they like. If I were to, after the session, I'd be like, okay, so Ward is hard of hearing and doesn't really have a lot of experience in making weapons, right? And so, but in the back of my head, I might say, Ward, is Ward a single guy? Is Ward a former soldier? Is Ward of this? Is Ward of that? Like, while you're talking to Ward, I'm thinking of what is Ward's other shit that may or may not come out, right? And I don't know. It just I got sort of a little thing going in the back of my head as you're talking and using the front of my head.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Now, how do you do? And I know the answer to this, but just for other things, how do you do voices?
I generally don't, unless it's something easier or just comes to me. I cannot possibly run voices for different people. I got like a handful of voices that I do,
right,
and that's it. I can't do all the voices. I'm not that kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, I can do it. I don't do it enough. I think it does add a lot though. When
you do a voice? I've never really heard you do voices too much.
Not too much. Sometimes, I did it more when it was one-on-one game with you and I.
You did.
Then.
Yeah.
And then and my way of figuring out an NPC. I think Jim had mentioned earlier. His way is he's got two traits and a secret or something like that.
Yeah.
Two facts and a secret. So I kind of work on that kind of thing too. But what I do to add on to it too is a lot of times, if I'm thinking of a character, I'll write down maybe an actor or a character in a movie, or that I'm kind of imagining the way they would sound or the way they would act. Or what I do a lot of times is I'll take two people. This is how I get my more, I guess, unique ones. Yeah. Is I just take two people I know and mash them up and make one person out of it.
Yeah.
Just like I do with adventures. I'll take two things, boom, smush them together, and you get something new out of it. Yeah. So when I play Hugo, I take my friend Jesse, and then I take I can't remember who else in there, and I mashed them up, and that's how I got Hugo. And then and I just kind of run. And then if I look at, say I didn't remember, because we get, after you're running a campaign for a while, you get a long damn list of NPCs, and you're who the frick was Ward Stonehill again? Oh, he was that. He was the blacksmith at the halfling place. Oh, okay. And then you got to okay, how did I, what details did I have for that? And so to have that little detail.
Yeah. On index cards or something like that helps. You know what I mean? To write it down, you got to write it down, or else it's just kind of sucks. You do all the work into put it into making them up, and then you don't write down. It's then the players don't know, they don't take him seriously because you're not taking him seriously, right? And so it's oh, he's just a throwaway NPC. I don't need to know who he is. And if you do that with enough NPCs, the players won't take any of your NPCs seriously. And then it's why are you making all the time? Why are you putting all the time into them? I do deep voices. I do voices on weed and margaritas. Deep voices. Lots of drawls and bad Sean Connery accents here.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. You got to have a Sean Connery, a bad one in your quiver for bad voices. Yeah.
D cups and defecation. I like that, Mike.
Flint needs you to drop those D's in the chat so you can write them down. Or something
right. Yeah. So here we have defecate. No, not defecation. All right. So we all got the D cups. All right. We know that one. The D cup.
We all remember that one. Yeah.
We all remember that one. Danger. Debauchery. How the hell you spell debauchery? Deviance.
I'm sure they'll figure it out. I'll spell it wrong too.
Decadence. I think that's I think I spelled decadence wrong. Damn it, like your name.
That's all right.
Yeah. So that's pretty much that's you shoot for in a bar. You always sound a good bar. Now we've said what we do, but we're here to show maybe give a structure or a framework or something like that. And
sure,
I have a good book, and you said you used to have this book too. It's really good.
It's a good book. I mean, I never used it for, but it's Writer's Digest. And Orson Scott Card has a lot of good books on that.
He did. Too. He wrote the book on this one and how to invent consistent and animate vivid characters, make them credible, and yeah, it's just good stuff. And just looking at the index, dude, I mean, it had so much that we could touch base on here.
Yeah.
But while I got the camera open, there's other things out there that you could also use. I got this thing from Doug Cole. It's a good book. Best Supporting Actors. This is just a book NPCs. Each page is a different NPC, and so these are all classed NPCs. So, the red shirts are people you're going to fight or people you're going to hire or whatever it is. But he did all the statting up for you, so that's kind of nice. Threw some magic items in there. And then he also had a card version of all of that too. So you could pull them out. These hurt my old eyes though. But it's the same characters from the book, a little picture on the back, so that's a good thing. I mean, every edition has had them. I was looking to try to find the Rogues Gallery from first edition. I couldn't find that, but I did find this third edition version. You're gonna see a hell of a lot of difference between the third edition version and the Rogues Gallery in first edition, because the third edition, Jesus Christ, I mean, everybody's got a 98-page backstory. There's, it's never ending, but tactics that he's in combat, and you got a whole book here with, I don't know, a couple dozen NPCs. Right. Whereas you look at the Rogues Gallery, you got, half the book, half this size with 38,000 of them, right?
I wonder if I still have that. The original.
I got it somewhere. I just couldn't pull it out,
about dude. This. See if I still.
What's that?
No. Remember, I can't remember what it's called. I think I still have it up here. Oh, yeah, here it is. I got two of them, actually.
Aha.
The Shadow Dragon Inn. Remember this one?
Yes, it was a good one.
Yeah, really this one had some cool NPCs.
Yeah, I think I bought that at ShireCon, actually.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, but the first time I'd ever seen it.
But it looks like you only have one booklet, but two screens or whatever. Yeah, I got one booklet. But this one was the first, the first one I remember about the NPCs. And I thought it was kind of a cool way to do it and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. It was nice. It was a nice little thing. And if you can pick it up in PDF for free somewhere on the internet, if you want,
they just fall into your hard drive.
Just fall into the hard drive. So it happens. A lot of random bits out there, populating the hard drive. So
yeah. But I do, guys. I do these NPC cards.
Oh, they're really good. Yeah.
And usually what I do with these,
you got the one I'm missing, you son of a bitch. You kept it on purpose.
I wouldn't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Just to fuck
with I'll give the general stats kind of here in the column, some equipment, and then a cool picture. I mean, this one's from Rick Hershey. Rick Hershey does great stuff, and then a little bit of background there. I mean, it is kind of a small font, but I think it's
not bad though. I mean, for old eyes, I got them. I got most of them.
Oh yeah, you get the whole stack.
I got the whole. Yeah, you get the whole stack.
You don't
have
to tell me which one you don't have, so I can bring it out.
I got 1, 2.
I think it's one.
There's Blake. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're gonna wish me count as my viewers drop. 12, 13, 14, 15, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
I was
19,
one of the
20,
older ones.
21, 22, newer one. 23. 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. I'm getting there. 27, 28, 29. Shit. It's just an exercise of me fucking counting, boys and girls.
What you said 31, you were missing one. You ain't missing nothing.
29. I got 29, 29, 30, 31, 32. Son of a bitch. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. So I got 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. I'm missing 37. Yeah. What the hell is 37? Do you know?
I do. I just have to look.
You're up to 42 now, right? That's your latest greatest?
Well, it's 43. I accidentally made her 42. See,
that's right. Yeah.
But I had to use a marker to black it out and then write 43 below it because I don't have one either.
Yeah. I got to add that one to this. The one I opened up on the live stream.
Which one did you say it was? I already forgot.
Oh, Jesus Christ! So did I. You're killing me.
Everybody else? I think it was 35.
35. No, I got 35. 30.
34.
32. 33. 34. 35. 36. 37. I'm missing 37.
Oh, 37. Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna type this in the chat so our old brains don't forget it again.
Everybody else remembered it.
Yeah, of course they did. Yeah. Looking like idiots here, Yeah. So there it is. So
you Lysander the Stern.
Is that? Yeah.
I'll show you who that is.
Just to taunt me. He's never going to give it to me. He's going to show it.
Oh, yeah, this guy.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Let's see. Share screen. Let's find. Let's see. And then I can tease you with what you don't have.
Taunts me is the better word.
There you go.
The one I don't have.
No.
Yeah. Lysander de Stern.
Yeah. Lysander is one of the 4 seers of the order. It's rumored that his stern gaze can make the mighty Myrmidons of the Seraph cringe.
No, you didn't give me the black guy.
That's racist. Yeah, he's a Seraph guy.
You didn't give me the black guy though. That's racist. Not give me the black guy, Tim. Just saying. You should be canceled for that.
Is he black?
Yeah, it looked like it, doesn't he? Scroll up.
I just drew on him. I don't know how to scroll up. What the hell? I don't know.
Give me an altered card.
Oh, he's the black guy. Yeah, I didn't know he was. I didn't see that. Yep, I didn't give you the black guy.
So
I'll have to. I guess I know I have spares.
All right.
I think I have spares of all of them. So.
Oh, good. So, dude, you should.
Or most of them.
If you
don't start going. You should.
You should. I'm telling you. Print a collection. Once you get to 50. Right, you're closing in on 50 now, right?
I got
43, right? So
7 more to go.
Just do a collection of a stack of 50 for $80, whatever. Put a price tag on it. I bet you'd sell several. You know what I mean? Collections like that for all the OCD assholes like me who need the complete set or else I won't buy any of them.
Right.
You could probably get a lot of money with that shit, dude. There's a lot of OCD gamers out there just saying.
There probably are.
I'm not the only one.
Yeah, you are not the only one. What do you say? Yeah. Professor DM does a few bullet points for NPCs like Shadow Dark. Simple and clean. Yep. No, that's easy. Authorizes by collection.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Once you get to
they're all for free though. That's what I tell people. If you want them,
not the card. They're what do you call it when you put the hard plastic on the outside of them? Right? Yeah,
they're all laminated.
Yeah. And he has clipped the corners to make them rounded. Yeah. So there's some work that goes into this shit. You could probably stop 150 cents a pop. That's not a bad thing. $100, man. A lot of people.
$100? No, get the hell out of here.
Clint, would you pay $100 for 50 of Tim's cards that you would never be able to buy anywhere else?
People that much.
Thraxis, Flint. Tell me what you would pay. There's a good thing. What would you pay, guys?
So we're gonna do like what do they call that? A study. What is that called?
Yeah, a little survey.
Heidi used to do it. I forget what it's called. Yeah, she used to do customer. I don't know what it's called.
Customer feedback.
I want to open this up because I gotta. You know what I used to like to do with this thing is they had. Let me see if it's the one I'm thinking of. That's the. I forgot how there was a big map in it. There was the map of the. Yeah, that's a nice little map. I forgot about that. They have this in the front, I think. So you have the. Oh yeah, let's see if you can see it. You have the outlines with the people numbered, and then you have the picture of them all up there. So I'd match them all up and read about them. So I'd say, okay, which one is this one? Because they're numbered in the outline picture, but then you'd have to say, Abel Art Tone. Okay, he's over here on the left-hand side. And I go through and match them up. So this one would just give them the stats, 2 sentences of equipment, and then like 2-3 sentences of, Abel stands 5'9", weighs 155, and has brown hair and eyes. He was once the squire of a knight, but now is starting his own career. He's a dreamer, but has more common sense than brains. Right. Boom. You're ready to go.
Yeah.
This was my first NPC book I think I ever had. And I absolutely loved it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Flint, you could have the whole set in PDF right now by just subscribing to his channel. And you put them, or not,
you don't have to subscribe to it.
Yeah, they're all there.
Yeah, they're all, everything's there. It's all PDF forms and stuff like that. But on my Patreon, like everything's free there.
Yeah. Would you pay $50 for 50? $1 a piece? That's. I wonder what the price point would be.
I'd probably, I would do a nice tuck box and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they don't have. Like if I did it, I'd have to do it on like what do you call it? Probably RPG drive-through or something like that.
Oh, really? You wouldn't like do it a home printout?
Oh God, Joe, doing 50 of those freaking things at once? That's all. These things, because I got to print them out, make sure they're a double-sided print and they're done well, because sometimes my printer likes to use them. Then I have to laminate them all. Then I have to cut them all, and then I have to clip them all.
Yeah,
and that shit takes.
Yes. Okay.
Well, it's. I don't mind doing it when I have small numbers.
Yeah.
You know, like because I think right now I have, I don't know, like 20 people who are subscribed to the 20, maybe 25.
Yeah.
They're subscribed to the point where they're getting physical copies,
mm-hmm.
and that's nice. It gives me something to do. I can do it in a few hours in the afternoon, and I feel like I'm making something, and it's a nice. I don't know. I like doing it, but like if I had to do, so if I sold, like say I sold 10 decks, so that's 50 of each card. Yeah,
it's a lot of work.
And then you like 50 different ones, and so you're talking about. So if I sold, it's like 500 cards that I have to make, and it's just like that. That would be like an all day.
Yeah, not worth it.
Couple days kind of thing or whatever. So I'd have to farm it out to a print shop that could do something like that. I mean, would I love to be able to handcraft them? Like what is it? Kickstarter does that, 100 with 100 kind of thing. I would probably do it for like some sort of Kickstarter like that. You just like I made 100, and once they're done, they're done.
Yeah, just limited
kind of thing.
Run. That's it.
Yeah, just make a limited edition of them and that kind of. But I would do it for that.
Yeah, Mike is a good point. Look through the study guides. I'll also call it Cliff Notes for those of us who remember that. Yeah.
Yes, for Shakespeare plays that NPCs out the yin yang.
And I think 50 is the price point there, Tim. $1 for each, 50 for 50. That works. That's a good deal. They've been throwing it out there. But for a more structured approach, now that you see how me and Tim do it, the most unstructured way, right? We're not structured, but for a more structured
not always.
Approach, not always. Yeah. There's preparation, and sometimes there's this winging it, but it goes by instinct or gut calls or, amalgamations of different people or whatnot, things like that. Right. But what this book lays out, it's just some really good points. And they talk about keeping a name Bible, keeping a trait Bible, of all the people. But starting off with what kind of story are you telling will determine the type of NPCs you're going to have, right? Fantasy, sci-fi, fiction. Is it a Dark Sun style post-apocalyptic, right? So the setting, the story of the world that's going on right now. Are you in a farmland? Are you in a big city? That's the first thing, right? And the second point.
I think like you world setting, and then the culture within that world setting.
Yes,
you're gonna have different, definitely different. Like little, you're gonna have the big cultures. Like you'll say you'll have like the United States culture, and then you start dividing it up into different subcultures.
Kentucky culture.
Well, then that's one part of it, and then you got the Pittsburgh and Philly, and then you got the just different cultures, and then the cultures within. You could burrow down, but I think for me, and this is, I guess we're working into world building and everything. I really like the rule of 3. I like having like 3 kind of basic rings of stuff. So what I have, the way I kind of define it too, I even do this in my dungeons building and adventure building. You have the obvious, you have the big picture, and then you narrow it down, and then you see the stuff. Once you start exploring something, then you see maybe like the next level of stuff. It's that third level that's the secret stuff. That's the hidden stuff. Yeah. That's the stuff that you have to really go looking for or know about, or just accidentally happen. The only way you're going to know it is if something like that happens, if you go looking for it. So I think it's a good kind of, so like say you're halfling person, what's Wade, Ward is a halfling. He's part of this community. That's the first ring, and then the second ring would be something around like, he works as a farmer, kids or something like that. And then the last thing for his kind of NPC will be he kind of lies and cheats things.
Okay.
So you'd have that 3 levels.
Yep.
Kind of thing.
The more you get to know him.
Pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. I like that. It's funny thing. The next chapter in here talks about the 3 levels of the hierarchy of characters.
Oh, really?
So the first level is the walk-on, the placeholder.
I may have internalized that years ago.
I know. But they're talking about the type of character, not in the head of them, right? So the walk-on placeholder type, the minor character, and the major character. I think all of which have a different level of detail you're going to have, right?
Right.
Absolutely. But the minor placeholder guy could all of a sudden become the walk-on placeholder could elevate himself to a minor or a major.
I know that's always the danger of role playing. You never know who's going to become the star or who's actually going to become a favorite of the NPC.
That's it. Of the
or like because all right, just for example, I didn't know that when you guys experienced the warg that was going to be a campaign long enemy for you guys. I mean, I just thought it was going to be an encounter, and basically it was an encounter to show you kind of how dangerous the Comor Forest was, but sometimes the dangers were intelligent dangers. They weren't just savage beasts just trying to tear you apart. There's ones that, well, I could tear you apart, but I'd rather have you give me gold for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I can get more out of you if I keep you alive.
Yep, killing a golden goose.
Right. Exactly. So, but you guys took to such hatred to him, and such. You guys, all you talked about was like, for sessions, like we got to go back and kill that war. We got to go. But you guys would never do anything. But he became like, even though you guys really, twice. That's all you encountered him. You encountered him in the very beginning of the campaign, and then I think at the end of the campaign. And I think that was the only interactions you really had with him.
Well, yeah, we didn't because at the beginning of the campaign, he was the nemesis. Like he pissed us off. He made us into bitches. You know what I mean? Like we were scared of the guy, and it's like, why are we so scared of this fucking guy? We didn't know. It was just like, and nobody likes to feel like they're a pussy. So we're the adventurers, damn it. We go out there and kick ass, and there's a fucking big, hairy, smelly, fucking big, oversized dog, and he starts talking. As soon as he started talking,
that freaked you out.
Yeah, it freaked me out. I'm like, why is the fucking dog talking? I was like, the hell is this shit? I was like, God damn it. I didn't like that. So yeah, we got freaked out, and we're like, well, shit. Let's not get too close to this little pooch here. You know, and for good reason though, because by the end of it, like you said, we met him twice, right? So when we met him, he was just a fucking warg, and he lived in the fucking hole in the ground with a bunch of other wargs. You know what I mean? So he was just that. He was just that guy. But then the second time we met him, when we're like 5th level, well, this is good. We're now gonna go and get a fucking warg fur coat, and this motherfucker shows up. So it's like, what are you gonna do?
No, that's what you saw. You didn't see
He was that big.
He was not clearly that big.
He was clearly that big and that intimidating. And so we're like, well, shit. Fuck the warg. We're not, warg's gonna make a pelt out of our skin. So that was the end of that.
No, but the nice thing is what you guys did, and it's very difficult in fantasy role playing.
Yep.
A lot is allowing a nemesis to develop, because most of the time player characters just want to kill. Yeah. I want to get them out of the way right now. It's like checking that door before you go past it, because you don't want anything popping out behind you.
Exactly.
So people don't want, their past popping up behind them and say, oh, I left this sumbitch alive. Now he's gonna make me pay later on because I didn't deal with him back then. But you guys allowed that to happen in a way. You guys were kind of put in almost a no-win situation in that happening and everything.
Yeah.
But you could have still, went back and tried to take him out or whatever the case may be. But that let me develop him farther than I expected. Yeah, I wasn't sure how much deeper that was going to go, but then he became a lot more significant to the campaign. Yeah, it took a larger role, even though he was in the background. Yeah, and your character was it Kojak, I think.
Yeah, it was. Kojak
at the time.
They had a yin yang thing going near the end, remember?
Right, yeah, because you guys became the balance of
the forest.
That was your kind of your peak into level 3 into the Comor Forest. You were seeing how here you were seeing, you just thought it was a big bad enemy. And then you found out, there was something else going on, and then you found out the third level of the truth that was going on, and you're like, shit, I can't kill this guy.
No, you gave me the hero's journey, near-death experience, Luke in the hole, fighting his father. You know what I'm saying? You gave me that experience where he was like kind of in the underworld, and he came out of it with like a magic sword that was the counterbalance to the warg's energy power.
Right.
And so that sword is the counter to the warg, right? And so it was so now they're two opposing foes, and they have coffee sometimes and team biscuits, I would imagine, once in a while. And hey, how's things going to your evil side of the world? Good. How's things going to your good side of the world?
It's probably one of those things where what do they call frenemies these days?
Yeah. You mean Switzerland? Yeah. you hang out for a bit and check in.
And then you go to your own corners and just forget that you're really connected with that person.
Yep. And look how Tim just said the Comor Forest is an NPC in his game, right? So I mean that's the thing, and then that sort of segues a little bit to the next thing is how to raise the emotional stakes. Well, the Comor Forest, fear, right? But they talk about a few things here, raising the emotional stakes with the NPCs that you encounter so that they become more memorable. Because if it's just Billy Bob, the bartender, there's no emotional stakes of ordering me a gin and tonic, right? You're just ordering a gin and tonic. But and they have a few points here they could say throw in there to get the emotional stakes raised. Some level of suffering, sacrifice, jeopardy, sexual tension, or signs and portents. I like the signs and portents thing. I kind of like that. But I mean, sexual tension is always fun. Most gamers make a joke out of it. You're not going to really get into that too much, but
no, I don't. Do you get much into the romance? I don't develop that part. Do I develop friendships and relationships? Absolutely, but I'm not into exploring, some gamers fantasy.
There was one time when we did a bard campaign. I was like, we're running Pathfinder. I think I was running it, and my brother wanted to do some kind of campaign like the old Josie and the Pussycat Show, where they go play gigs in different places, and every time they got an adventure,
right?
So it's like, oh, what the hell is that? And we're like, well, that's obviously an all bard campaign, and so then it became we were all watching Death Clock at the time, so it had a little overtones of Metalocalypse, right? Remember that Metalocalypse show, cartoon band, heavy metal cartoon band. So Metalocalypse, and my brother played a character based on Russell Brand's dude in oh god, he was an asshole. Oh Jesus Christ. What was the name of the show, guys, in the chat? Whoever knows this, Russell Brand was in the show, and he played a guy who's a recovering alcoholic and went off on a bender in Hawaii, and he was banging this other dude's girlfriend. It was a funny show, but he was a douche nozzle. My brother played a character based on him, and they always got in trouble. And I was watching Boston Legal then, so I had Denny Crane, the halfling, come in and save their asses in jail. It was just a weird the one before Get Him to the Greek. The one before that. It was the other one. So it was just a random thing, but I created getting laid tables based on all the various
getting laid tables.
Getting laid, because after the show you got to get laid, right? So getting laid checks.
So like how many, like was this a D10 roll, a D12 roll? What kind of roll was that?
It was a combination. Dude, you know what I did. There was like 10 pages of rules for getting laid, right? and several pages of what disease you're gonna get. Yeah. So that was Forgetting Sarah Marshall was it. Get Him to the Greek was the second. The Forgetting Sarah Marshall was the hilarious fucking thing. But putting somebody in jeopardy, somebody making a sacrifice for you, whether they win or lose, that's another. They talk about it. Right. Somebody suffering. I mean, you're gonna, you feel empathy, sympathy for somebody who's suffering, right? Yep. And then if the witch is giving you signs or portents or something like that, you get the emotional involvement, right? Anything that gives you the emotional involvement,
Yeah, but how do signs and portents give you emotionally involved?
Because it latches in a feeling association with that person. Like if the witch in the shack that you guys were at gave you some doom and gloom prophecy, you'd always remember who gave that to you if it was your guy.
Okay.
I think
maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's like the witch. Yeah, she said that the darkness comes at when the wolf howls at noon. Yeah, that was the witch.
Okay.
Something like that, right? So,
all right. I guess
yeah.
I think one of the things like you could add, especially for the gaming thing, was like what I did with you, and we'll go back to Snickle and Alice, because sometimes if you can introduce a group or a character or a group of characters in your case that are just ordinary people trying to survive.
Yeah.
Think of the villagers or different things, but somebody that they don't need your help right away, but they're just somebody they just they do what they can to take care of you. They give you a meal, they wash your clothes, they ask how you're doing, or making sure that you take care of yourself, kind of thing, and then they get into trouble. Because now a lot of I know in the past, I mean, we're definitely more mature gamers, of course, than in the past. Because in the past, you never wanted to have any family obligations or any family whatsoever, because the GM was going to fuck you over by having one of your kids. Kidnapped. They were going to use that against you and screw you over. Where I think the best way to do it, I found that's most effective, is allowing that to happen for a long period of time. And it's not a big part of the game, but it's enough part of the game that you start remembering all their names. I mean, guys, there for a while, you knew Alice's name and you knew all of her kids' names. She had 5 kids.
6.
And you remembered which one was I mean, I don't think you knew the order, but you always remembered the youngest ones was Emma.
Yeah.
Remember Emma all the time.
Yep.
The young girl.
Yep.
And I mean, when they got in trouble, boy, that was when Snickle became heroic.
Yeah.
He didn't. He was very a self-preserving. He should. He's very small. He's very fragile. He doesn't have a lot going. But if you mess around with Alice and the kids, he turns into a freaking pit bull.
Yeah.
He's around.
They were the rock.
You were going to do whatever you need to do to defend them, and that relationship that you develop over that time, and I think, and that's what it takes. It takes that coherent, campaign. I mean, you can have the the guy that comes in or the girl that comes in that kind of, makes a scene right away.
Yeah.
And one of the best DMs I've ever had that made, like Ken. You remember Ken, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, when he comes up with a good fucking NPC,
I would love to play in one of his games, dude.
It is so great because he plays them so well. It's just wonderful. But I think getting that, it just takes time, and you got to have the players that will allow that kind of relationship to build too, because not all of them are geared towards that.
Dude, it's just like real life. I mean, look at you were at my place, right? Next door, you saw the deck area. I shared half of a deck, almost like a walkway through the deck with somebody next door, right? Right now, it's a young woman, and she has 2 kids. One is a few years old, and one's a baby. Right. They moved in when she was pregnant, right? Now, the kids, a few years old, and I see them, and the little girl will come over. She'll run around. She'll grab everything that looks like it might be a toy and starts playing with it, making a mess, throwing it around.
Do you lock your gaming?
Oh, dude, yeah, because she came out with all my dice one time. I'm like, no, you don't touch the dice. A
slight anxiety attack about that.
You can play with the coasters and the Magic 8 Ball and the Slinky and all this stuff, but you don't touch the dice, man. So I shut the door. Plus, there's too many things in there that could fall and get hurt.
Right.
But now, dude, I tell you, after a couple of years, holding the kid when it was a baby, and now the other one's young, and I fed that one and burped it, and now the other kid comes over at a few years old. She's starting to talk and saying my name, and she runs up and she hugs my leg when I see, before she was shy, hiding behind her mother's leg. Now she holds hugs my leg. Right. And it's like, dude, that's the greatest shit in the world. You think I'm not going to be a Snickle in terms of that kid's and that family's in danger? Right. I'm going to, what I'm saying? It's like normal human relations that you're getting into there, And that sort of gets into actually, believe it or not, a good segue to the next chapter of this thing in terms of
Oh, wait a minute. Before you go any further,
sure.
you have to look at the comments. That's
I
so
see.
Funny.
Get him to Dragon Herpes.
Burns. I love the VD and D&D.
VD and D&D. The yearning and the burning. I like that, Mike. That is good.
Yeah.
Those are a door prize. Well, Tim has a couple extra decks of cards, so there might be you might get a door prize. Yeah. You win the antidote to VD and D.
Yes, that is so funny. Oh.
Yeah. But the next chapter is the hero and the common man. And Snickle was not a hero. He was a common man who became a reluctant hero because forced into circumstances, which are the most interesting heroes, I think. It's kind of boring when you start off first level, you're a paladin. You're a hero at first level. You're a paladin.
You are. Yeah, you got and when you need, a big, what do you call it, a block to put all your powers in and everything.
Yeah.
You definitely so I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I mean, absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I agree. Like when I used to play GURPS back when it was 3rd edition, the standard person would like hero you'd run as a 100-point character. I love starting off as a 50-point character. So you were basically, that was the equivalent of a everyday. Yeah,
Henry the Farmer.
And I loved doing this and just trying to figure out, because you couldn't just run up to something and then like get in a big fist fight with it, because you're going to get your ass handed to you. So you had to kind of think of different ways to do it. So yeah, I absolutely love this to start out as. I mean, a lot of when I start off with characters, I always use you've heard me use this term before, just below suck.
Yeah,
and that's where I like starting.
Yeah,
I like starting just below suck.
We've played plenty of them there. The low strength fighter, the low intelligence wizard. Yeah, that's your sweet spot, dude.
He's creeping in there. What are you doing?
He's creeping around.
Oh, there must be a stink bug emergency. Well, she gets freaked out by stink bugs. So.
I don't like them either.
Yeah. It's on your lunch bag. Stink bug in the lunch bags. Double.
Yeah.
Oh, now she can't find it. So go ahead.
So the NPCs, you have the hero and the common man type of NPC. Most NPCs are going to be the common man type, but they might be elevated later to something more, like we were talking. Right now, they get into two types: the comic and the serious NPC. Right. So the comic one, they talk about oddness and exaggeration as traits for so make them a little bit odd, a little quirky, a little twitch, maybe a little weird laugh after everything he says, something that's jarring that makes them remember him and exaggerate.
That's creepy, man.
Just a little creepy.
The comedic, the creepy, and the serious.
So you just got tickled in the taint, kind of feeling there. Pillsbury Doughboy. Exactly. That's what that feels like. Right. So you exaggerate, you downplay the oddness. Like there's oddness and it's there, but you don't make it the focus. And the player's like, what the fuck's with that? And it's not talked about. It just is, right? So you remember that sort of thing. But then they talk about the serious character. How do you make somebody? How do you make your PCs believe?
It's hard to have a serious NPCs because the players will just I think, I mean, can you think of any examples where your NPCs you were trying to play a serious guy and then they just blew it off, or you had NPCs and they responded respectfully?
Well, here's what I did. Here's what I did in one recent thing. I think I did it pretty well. My brother's group at an inn. They were back at the inn in Fandolin, right? You guys know about. Not Fandolin, I'm sorry, Parnast, right? And I did the thing where the other adventuring group comes to town and they did bigger, better, greater things than your group, just to fucking fuck with their heads, right? And so they walk in like, yes, we have done. And then you see this other adventuring group, all accolades and cheers and spending millions of gold pieces buying rounds for the town. And everybody's like, yay, that kind of shit. And they're like, wait, we just saved the whatever. Yeah, and they're like, whatever. They got like,
they go, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, cute, good job, buddy. Here. And then the other adventure group is buying them rounds you know, like they're pathetic, you know. So it was like I wanted to take away the glory a little bit, you know, to fuck
gotcha.
with them.
What happened? How'd they react to that?
Oh, they were like, whatever. But you know, and then there was one guy. There was a fighter. He's a blowhard fighter type, right? He's drunk. He's up on the table, and he's, you know. And then I did the blah blah blah, and I took 3 heads off in one shot, and this stuff, right? He's blustery and big, and the life of the party is the over the top guy. And I based him on my old landlord. But because he was that kind of guy too, right? When he got a few in. So anyway, later on that night, I had Dwayne, who was in the military, right? Because remember, there was these PCs have a post-military. Some of them have a post-military background from the big war that happened, blah, blah, blah. So I said, you know, there's everybody scattered in various rooms, and we're all in the same common room and sleeping in a hotel. I said, Dwayne, you hear some, you're just your guy. You hear screaming in the hallway, some kind of loud pain. I don't know what it is. So he goes out there all, you know, axe in hand or whatever. And he sees the paladin of that group walking across the hallway, going into another room, opening the door. And the paladin looks at Dwayne's character and says, and he goes, Dwayne's like, what the hell's going on? He goes, oh, that's, you know, the big dude who was dancing on the table, right? And telling his stories, the big fighter type. And Dwayne's like, is he all right? And he says, well, he has these dreams. And Dwayne says, why? He goes, and the paladin looks at him. He says, did you serve in the last war? And Dwayne's guy's like, no, I missed that. He goes, he didn't miss the war. So now you get an instant sense of the big blustery guy jumping on the table, talking about his exploits and all that, the drinking and the party, and it's all about covering up all the PTSD and the trauma that he's had.
Right. And
Dwayne, it's like, oh shit, all right, cool. You get a sense of the depth of the character now. Right. So you get it, you know, 2 sides of the coin here. So Dwayne never even interacted with that NPC who was, you know, screaming in his room after standing on the tables, but he got a sense of him now.
Right.
You know,
serious. Took the situation serious.
And I took that line. Anybody out there who might remember that line, Babylon 5.
Babylon 5. Yep. I was going to say.
Garibaldi said, "Did you serve in the war?" And it was the guy who played the crazy dude from the A-Team. I forget the actor's name.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Right, and he's the helicopter, the pilot guy, right? Dwight Schultz, I think is the actor, was his name, but I forget. Murdoch, crazy Murdoch.
Okay.
Yeah, so, you know, the fighter didn't look like Murdoch, but he had the same thing, you know, as Murdoch in the show. He said, he didn't miss the war. I've had that same dream. You know, so I stole the line for Babylon 5 because it was always emotionally resonant with me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great line.
Yeah, so I'm like, I stole it. So I
got a lot of weight to it.
It does.
Like, you know, it has an impact. So
yeah.
So it's funny that you used it on a guy who was in the military.
Yeah. Dwayne, who could maybe relate. You know,
Howling Mad Murdoch. There you go.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I switched from a comic relief character to somebody who is, you know, wow, there's a little depth to this guy. It's not just a caricature. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, so that gives us to the next chapter, the serious character.
I want to use it, like one of the things that I've used for that is I don't remember. Do you remember? You remember how Blake normally is, right? You know, the mage and the
kind of serious. Yeah.
Yeah, it was serious, but you know, he was basically kind of like the dude. You know, he smoked his pipe, hung out, got some maps and everything. And then the shit went down. Do you remember what happened then?
Yeah, he fucking wiped everything out. He came out of the smoking, but there were all his enemies dead around him.
Right. If I remember right. All of a sudden, you got to see him kind of like go into
unleash.
He became this thing, and then all of a sudden, you guys are like, oh shit, didn't know he could do that.
Guess we're not going to rob him tonight when he's sleeping.
Right. Yeah. So that's sometimes what I kind of use the same kind of baseline is like you develop a baseline for a character. And then when a situation comes up, in this case, we're talking about a serious one, you know, maybe he was goofy or maybe he was just like the dude smoking, but then the situation calls for him to get serious. And then all of a sudden you kind of you're like, whoa, you know, he's not bragging anymore. He's not smoking his pipe and just petting his dog. He's like dragging 2 guys at a time with one hand and throwing them on the ground and you know, it's like, oh,
you don't mess with Blake. He's on a tear.
Kind of tear. Yeah. So it definitely has a better impact because if you started out with that, if you start off that high, or is that, you know, it's really hard to, you know, to reach there again. I mean, if you hit it again, it's already been established. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
So you kind of need to build up to it, or at least establish a baseline. That's what I think works. It works really well for me with NPCs. I mean, even with characters in fiction too. You can't, because if you start off at a 10, unless you're Spinal Tap, you can only go to 11.
Yeah. I mean, look, you need character development unless you're doing like a Tolkien-esque heroic fantasy. Aragorn didn't change; he just became king, but he was still the same dude as he was when he was Aragorn. Right? I mean, Boromir fell. Legolas was always the same. Gimli was always the same. Gandalf was always the same until he died and came back as the White. Right? But outside of major transformations, the only change that happened was to the hobbits, and they didn't really change; they just got better. They didn't change fundamentally who they were.
I mean, I would say like the what is it, Pippin and
they got taller.
Because if you read the prologue of the book where they actually defended the village from the orcs
later on,
they didn't. I mean, I'd say they changed. They weren't just farmer halflings lazy. They were battle hardened now. They were.
That's what I mean. They got better.
Where even what's his face, Frodo, he changed, but unfortunately he kind of went the other way. He just he was broken.
Yes.
After the thing, and he just wasn't. So the transformation, and then Sam, he was the consistent one. He's the one who he was like the essence, right. They lost their innocence.
Well said, Jim. Yeah.
So they got exposed to everything that was horrible that could be, that could be done at that time. But I mean, and then also in fairness to the Lord of the Rings, even though these guys didn't change, they're already well established adventurers. I mean, they were all
heroes,
badasses, heroes from the first frame of the film. And then the great thing about it, what made it so good, is you just needed to have these little hobbits, the smallest creatures in the land, the weakest, meekest creatures in the land, had to save the world. They were the only ones capable of doing it. And that's what made it, ironically, and that's what made it really interesting, that all these big bad heroes had to rely on them. And I think that's what changed their point of view too. I mean, not that they ever thought probably that little of the hobbits or anything, but they didn't realize probably how important they were. Until
Gandalf did.
Gandalf did. Gandalf should have just wrote it fucking equal. But what the hell?
I know.
We won't go in there.
Yeah. Well, what they talk about in here of how to make somebody believe that in the seriousness of an NPC is that they have a few things. Elaborate somehow, as the story goes, on the motive of the NPC. Why do you want this? Get into why do you want to move to Waterdeep and start up your own whatever sage business there, and then man, my great uncle was the greatest sage ever. I only inherited 50 of his books, but he was disgraced, and I'm going to redeem my family name. Boom. I just made that up. You know what I'm saying? But there you go. That's, you just have a motive, right? Elaborate the motive, right? And then the attitude of the NPC. I mean, he could be beyond having a serious attitude. Something about the way that NPC presents themselves makes them memorable in a serious way. They don't fuck around, whatever it is, right? About how they present themselves. Right. And the other two things we talked about, the remembered past and the implied past.
Right.
All right. Yes. So the past that they remember or talk about, or because you see that the dude is missing an arm and has an eye gone and he has a claw marks across his neck, some shit happened to that guy.
Yeah.
Right. The implied past, and he drinks a bit. And while he's drinking, he holds this old medallion, this medal that he got. And you can't even tell what it was at some point, but the ribbon is frayed, but he's holding the medal as he drinks. Right. So you knew he was in a war, in a battle somewhere. He's got the souvenir that he drinks and holds on to. Who knows? Was it his? Was it his best friend? Was it his brother's? Was it his father's? We don't know. Right. So there's an implied past there that you got to get into,
Yeah.
And then sometimes maybe they bring out the justification for why they do things. They actually justify themselves.
Yeah.
So that's how you make this believe in a serious character's, seriousness, that you don't make a joke out of them that way,
Mike down there brought up a good point too about having a fatal flaw. And I love that quote from Shane, man can't change what he is. And, sometimes you get so far down the path that, there's no, they believe they don't have any redemption or something.
Yeah.
Maybe like that guy who's holding the thing, he's just a drunk son of a bitch because he doesn't think, he deserves anything because he let his friend die.
Dude, look at The Unforgiven.
Oh yeah,
right? Clint Eastwood. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, holy shit. There's that right there. You could have many characters based on just fragments of his character.
Yep.
That's a dude with a lot. Yeah, like Dog Tags, exactly,
right.
or something like that, depending on your setting. You know what I mean? Yeah, Dog Tags, whatever it would be.
Right.
Yeah, and then
deserves got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Green goes black. Love that. Love that. Oh, God, it's so good. Oh yeah, I love that ending.
Yeah, no, that was a great. God, I gotta watch that now again.
I know, it makes me want to watch it too. Yeah, it's such a good movie.
All right, good show, everybody. Thank you for watching. We gotta watch The Unforgiven.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Oh God.
The last thing you talk about in terms of making interesting NPCs, or again, this book is about characters, making interesting characters or applying it to NPCs, is the NPC transforms. All right. So why did the NPC change or transform? What justifies it? Was it an external and internal thing? What made the change happen? Because an NPC that transforms and changes it to something else, you're gonna remember that. You're gonna make him. It's gonna be more memorable. There might be a tie into what the PCs are doing. Right. So all these things, I'm just getting it from one book of writing. And we all got million, because every DM is a failed writer or a wannabe writer, one way or another, I think, right? We all, in some level, we all want to write the next great. Let's face it, we all read the books that we want to write, growing up as kids. We all wanted to be the next Tolkien. We all wanted to be the next Feist, the next Lieber, whatever, Fritz Leiber, right? But we never got there. But, so I'm sure that we all have books on our shelves about how to write. Or we did, at least at one point. So use some of your books on how to create memorable characters and just use that and apply it to NPC creation. You can't go wrong,
No. I mean, yeah, we got to, I would imagine going to full, for everybody and stuff. Just get, what works for you and that you can refer to and everything. And okay, so let's just some, maybe to tail end this and everything. What do you do to help yourself during a game to come up with an NPC real quick? Is there any tricks or anything that you use, or maybe not tricks, but just things you do to, because NPCs are usually the toughest things to kind of create right on the spot. Monsters are easy, you can just look at the book and you got everything right there, blah blah blah. You mean NPCs, but so the same thing, we're going into the blacksmithing thing. You just make it completely up, or do you have a way to help yourself come up?
No, I just make it up. I don't have any tools like that. There's probably 50 different books in various places about how to do it. If I had the time, I might write ahead of time. But if I'm on the spot, I just got to riff. I just got to wing it. I just got to, it's just.
I think the only thing I really do is I print out a list of names.
Okay.
So I'll get 50
my brother
names,
does that too. My brother,
maybe 20 female, 20 male.
Yeah.
And then when the players come up on somebody, I just pick a name and then I leave space there, and then I'll write in, this, I don't know, Howard was the blacksmith in the, the halfling village. Lied about his skills and, just put little details in, and then maybe flesh it out. So that's what I do to kind of help me during game, because sometimes coming up with if I rely on just sort of me making up names, I tend to make up names that are very generic or ridiculous.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So I like to go into, maybe I'll go to, I want to come up with some Hungarian names. So I'll go to the Hungarian name list and do some old British names, mix in with maybe a few Slovak names or something like that, and get them. And that way I can kind of keep it. Or if I know they're going into a particular area, like you guys have only been there a few times, but I have that kind of Appalachia area that's in between Scorn and Hounshead that you guys kind of stay away from.
Yeah. A lot of redneck shit out there. Dude.
Yeah. So I get some kind of, for that one, I kind of use old biblical names. I go for the old,
Ezekiel and
Malachi, Jebediah, some really cool old biblical shit that just makes you go, oh,
that's because you live near a bunch of what do you call it, the buggy horse and buggy people out there?
Amish. Yeah, you're not
Amish.
wrong.
Yeah, those guys. I mean, you're used to talking to those guys out there, right? So yeah.
Well, they speak that Pennsylvania Dutch, German stuff. You can't. Some of them won't speak English right away unless you're paying them money. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Let's see what he said. I list random names, saves the most for me. Yeah. And then I usually have a few quirks in mind, make people memorable, stuff like that.
A list.
Yeah. And then like we've been using Shadow Dark. Shadow Dark's got a nice little, the NPC tables. Mm-hmm. And I think they're really good for just coming up with something real quick. Mm-hmm. I'm just looking at it real quick here. Here, where the hell is it now? Usually I have my ribbon on it, but my ribbon fell out of that spot too. Now I can't find it right now.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's all right. But it's nice to have just a few small tables because you don't need a lot to really make a lot or come up with something. If you, like Jim said, if that has a list, we can just run on that.
Yeah.
Swears every third word. Yeah. People just think that was just me playing me then. But yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways, so many books, so many resources. I mean, just today, we showed you, I don't know how many different, accessories that you could use that are gaming stuff. And I don't know how many I have behind me that I could use. I don't do a lot of NPC ones. I don't buy a lot of those really. A little bit here and there if they seem to be exceptional. Mm-hmm. But in general, I think I think it's definitely one of my strengths as a DM to make NPCs and create them. So, but I'm always looking for tools that'll get me better at that also.
It's funny because I do get caught unprepared with the name thing. I should probably have a name list just because of that. And because sometimes at one point or another, Larry, Daryl, and Daryl have made an appearance in every fucking one of my campaigns. I'm at a loss.
You're not the only one.
There they are.
Larry, Daryl, and Daryl has appeared in many, many campaigns. I am sure of it. I am positive. Yeah. I think I've encountered them in like 2 or 3 of your campaigns, Joe.
Yeah.
And I think
they're always there. It becomes a tradition at this point.
Rob, he gets stuck on a name. Like if he watches like the Vikings,
yes.
I think for like 3 months, everybody was named Athel.
Athel something. Athelstan, Athelstan, Athelstor.
Right. Yeah, everything was Athel. And it's like so we just became a running joke anytime. It's like I go talk to Athel and Rob's like, he's not here. He goes, and I'll be like, well, everybody's an Athel in your world.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can have so many friends, right?
Yep.
I get stuck. Yeah, I get those names stuck in my head, and I need that prompt. But the one thing I do have a rule about my NPC names is they have to be pronounceable.
Yeah.
I hate when I look at different cultures for names. If I can't pronounce the name, I'm not using it.
What's funny thing was I'm writing them down, Tim. If I'm typing it out ahead of time, I had no problem coming up with them because what I do is look at a keyboard and I find a letter to start with, right? So, all right. So I'm looking at the keyboard. R. All right. Need a vowel. R. Rup. All right. Rupkin. All right. Mm-hmm. Boom. Rupkin it is. I just start with letters and I look for consonant sounds. I look for sound combinations, 2 or 3 syllables. Sure. And it makes no sense that Rupkin. It just came out. Right. And so it's easy to do it when I'm, just typing something, but I never seem to remember to do that when somebody's asking me to come up with a name during play. Yes. I'm trying to strain my brain instead of look down at my keys,
And especially if you're running an urban campaign.
You'll need
when you were running through Scorn and you wanted to go see this one and this one and this one, I had to be very prepared with NPCs. Mm-hmm. I had to, maybe not prepared with, because I never knew where the hell you were going to go sometimes.
Yeah.
So my NPC, my stable grew exponentially because of that. But I had to really come up with some of the stuff on the fly and expect, like the massive amounts of NPCs you could possibly need in a campaign, in a city campaign can be overwhelming. Even if you write the shit down, I mean, after you get 100 of them, then you're trying to find the damn card, the index card. Now you got 100 index cards, and you're like, even if it's alphabetical order, it's sort of like, you can't remember which one he is.
The old source of NPC names, and there's only certain people over a certain age are going to know about what this thing is the white pages.
Yes, I do that. Yes. Yeah. Well, no, what I actually do is I don't use the white. I actually use football players' names.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, either the last name or the first name. Okay. I will pick them because just because there's so much variety.
Yeah, a lot of Newt Brockney, the dwarven names of Newt Brockney run around in your world, I would imagine, right? I mean, that's a dwarven name I ever heard one. All the Chicago Bears had dwarven names, I would think, right?
They would have to, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of be. Yeah.
And Ed Greenwood did have the most unpronounceable names ever. Yes. Yep. And and I read that a lot, like in like fiction, especially like science fiction, when like from the planet. So it becomes so now the person becomes Z and the world's W. I just make it the first.
Me too. I do the same thing.
I can't, because if I have to pronounce it in my head while I'm reading, it disrupts my reading. So I just have to, just use the first initial. And go from there. And
it's worse for me, Tim. I don't even bother with that. All I do is I see the name. I don't even bother to pronounce it. The name becomes an image. That image of the name becomes.
Oh, really? It becomes an image. Okay.
Yeah, the name in my head becomes an image, right? Oh, so I'll see Halloran, and the Halloran image is in my head, and therefore, whenever I see Halloran, I put together all the traits I've associated with Halloran, and so I'll read books and not even be able to tell you the name of the fucking guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I could tell you who he was and what he did.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. I'll help you if you have more characters starts with Z. Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah, no shit. I swear to God that Greenwood or whoever wrote Drizzt, not Greenwood, the other guy wrote Drizzt books, right? I swear it used to be called Drizzit. I swear to Christ, there wasn't as many exclamation points and apostrophes and all the other weird symbols in his fucking name back in the day. Or maybe I just never pronounced it right. I don't know.
I don't know. I never read one of his books.
I thought it was Drizzit, not Drizzt.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It just
first few were okay.
Were they? Yeah, I just first caught my interest. Yeah. So I think we're done, Joe.
I think so.
That was long.
2 hours.
We beat the shit out of that horse.
Yeah, we did. I think we're Tim pretty good though. For those of you who stuck around long enough, we probably should have led with this. I think Tim is that we've been reaching out to some people who might be able to join us on a show once in a while.
Yeah, some popular YouTubers.
Other YouTubers. Yeah. Not just
it's only one right now, isn't it?
One right now.
Yeah, it's not plural. Popular. Yeah, we've only found one person. It's
you always got to sell like it's plural, Tim. You sell like we're ballers here. Yes, many people have been reached out to, and many have said yes. But for real, right now, it's only one guy.
One guy, yeah.
One guy. So anybody who's a fan of Bandit's Keep, all right.
Red Wizard Arsenal.
He's
Daniel Bishop. Yeah,
Daniel of Bandit's Keep is going to be joining us.
Yeah, if we can get him scheduled in here, he's decided to join us a little bit. Yeah, I don't know if you got. I'm sure everybody here knows Daniel and Bandit's Keep. I mean,
if you don't,
he does a fantastic show. He does. He's very good. At what he does, I mean, he has a podcast too, and I don't know how he does. He does a podcast. He does his YouTube show, and then he does Patreon podcasts.
So, does he really?
Yeah, he does.
I didn't know that.
Oh my God, yeah.
I didn't know he had a podcast. I just subscribed to his damn YouTube show.
Yeah, he's got Bandits Keeps podcast too that I listen to.
I had no idea, man. Is that on Spotify? Can I get it on Spotify?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, man. I just have a lot more cool shit to do on the way to work in the morning now,
Yeah, I mean, he does a lot of good stuff, and I kind of binge watch his stuff, and I think I swear to God, the one show pops up all the time, and I think it was How to Create a Mega Dungeon Part 1. I think I watched or listened to it like 7 times already, just because it comes up in the and I listen to a lot of stuff on washing dishes, so I just play it and because my commute to work's not that long, so I have to do it because dishes always take a long time here.
He's got a lot of he's got a lot, man. I didn't realize.
I know he does.
Now are his podcasts different?
Beast.
Are they different than his?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're not the same thing. They're not like how some people will do like the podcast and then the YouTube and then make it into a podcast kind of thing too. No, they're separate. And then like I said, he does a separate one for his patrons on his Patreon. I mean, he creates a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
He's got probably a couple hundred on this. All right. I'm subscribing to him right now. Following him, get the new stuff that comes out on Spotify. I did not know that. So so Daniel from Bandits Keep, we reached out to him today, and he says sounds good. He runs a game.
Wait. What is a Lore 24 project?
I don't know.
You have to tell me that, Jim. What is
I don't know what the hell that is.
Lore project. I'm not up on that. Yeah, Daniel's great. Unfortunately, not unfortunately. Fortunately, I got to meet him. It was ShireCon we saw him.
Yes.
So I didn't have any real time to talk to him. I had like a 10-second conversation with him on the stairs, and I was really hoping to have some time to just kind of talk to him a little bit. We never got the chance.
You said that he has been a member of your Patreon since the inception, right?
He has. Yeah. He's been there from I want to say he's one of the original folks. Yeah, he's got pretty much everything I've ever created, and and I didn't know him back then, but he's got a freaking newsletter too. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Jesus Christ, he must not have kids. He must not have kids. There's no way.
I don't know. I'll tell you what, though, he does really good work, and he just seems like the nicest guy in the world.
That's the thing, and he is in person. He's a nice dude. You just want to have it. He's not the kind of guy that you say, I'm going to want to bender with him. But he's a nice guy that you can say, I'm going to sit under a tree and talk D&D for hours with him.
He has it sounds like he's got a mild caffeine addiction. But other than that, he seems he likes his coffee.
Well, he's a mild dude, too. He's just a gentle, mild, nice guy. It's a nice thing, So at some point, guys, he said he's going to come on the show. So we'll have him on maybe next week because he has his game tonight. And next week's
he said he had every other Monday night days or something. Right? So if it ends up that Daniel's going to show up or whatever, we'll try to make sure you guys know.
Definitely. We'll know ahead of time. We'll put that out ahead of time.
Because he'd be a cool dude to have on and everything.
Interesting. I mean, I was talking to him about this a while ago, having him on, because I think that we would gel right. You know what I mean? Tim and Daniel
I think
really
so,
have a good. We would gel together pretty well. As fluid as the conversation with Tim and I is, pretty much every time we're on, I think he would just slide right in there and be a good fit. Anybody else you guys could throw out there for names, other YouTubers or podcasters? Hey, why don't you talk to him? I think.
And I got to tell Flint. Flint, I finally got over to your page, which and everything. So I've been watching some Flint videos, Flint Fireforge videos. I can't remember which ones I watched offhand now, but definitely a good channel to go check out.
Amen. Flint's a good dude. I saw his one tonight. It was pretty good. Talk about keeping the Borderlands there.
I didn't get it. I saw that one. I didn't get it. That's on my
literally doing dishes. Flint took my entire doing dish duration.
Oh, so you did dishes? It must be a thing that I'm not the only one.
Yeah, no, because my charger's right next to the thing near where I do the sink there. So it's so it's plugged in and put it on.
Yeah.
So cool. So anybody else out there you guys think would be, hey, you guys would be a good fit, or why don't you talk to this person? Throw out the names. I'm willing to ask anybody. I have no fear of that. So it's just a matter they can only say no. So. Thanks. Glad to help with the dishes. All right, guys. Well, on that note, it's been 2 fucking hours. So
2 hours.
I have to piss like a motherfucker. So
I know, me too. For once, I gotta I'm gonna have to brace myself because I think it's gonna push me against the back wall. I'll just be like,
Yep. What's this body imprint in the wall?
Little Fred Flintstone imprint. Yeah.
Oh God, speeder of dishwashing. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next Monday.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.